Namaskar. Manaache Shlok, Shloka 10. Sada sarvada priti rami dharavi dukhachi sway sandi jivi karavi dehe dukkhate sukhamani tazavi viveke sada swaswarupi bharave. Jai Jai Raghuvir Samartha. You are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not the intellect. You are the eternal self. Advaita Vedanta declares it again and again and again. Tat Tvam Asi. That thou art. In other words, the God you are searching for is the self you have forgotten. And yet, we look into the mirror and see a bundle of limitations. We look at our lives and see confusion, exhaustion, and entanglement. Within and without, it is one big mess. And so the question naturally arises, if I am that, why do I feel like this? Why is my life like this? Because the truth is never in question. Our identification is. We identify so wholly with the body-mind-intellect complex instead of the self. And we become so absorbed in the passing world that we forget who we truly are. We are the infinite, currently viewing life through such a finite lens. We are the imperishable, panicking like the perishable. So how do we return? In Shloka 10, Swami Samartha Ramdas offers the mind 4 difficult yet luminous paths back home, provided it is first ready to sit with this one question. Is it possible that everything life throws at me is for me, not at me? Come, let us break this down line by line. Line 1. Sada sarvada priti rami dharavi. Exploring this opening line of Shloka 10 purely through the lens of Advaita Vedanta, the entire spiritual journey begins with one radical shift in identity. The Bhagavad Gita repeatedly reminds us that we are not the body, not the mind, not even the intellect. We are the eternal self, temporarily expressing through all three. As this understanding slowly begins to settle within us, our relationship with the world changes. We still love. We still work. We still fulfill all our responsibilities. But the feverish clinging begins to dissolve. The strong likes and dislikes that once dictated every thought, emotion, and action gradually loosen their grip. For it is not action that binds us, but our deep identification with it. It is our attachment to people, possessions, and especially outcomes that creates binding karma and keeps the wheel of birth and death turning. To understand what Swami Samartha Ramdas is saying here, imagine the tanpura behind a classical vocalist. However intricate the raga becomes, the core note is held as a constant. It quietly sustains every rendition through that concert, no matter which direction it takes. In the very same way, beneath every conversation, every success, every disappointment, every joy, and every sorrow, there should remain one silent remembrance gently humming in the background. I am not this passing personality, I am that. The eternal changeless self that the Upanishads reveal as my true nature. Sada Sarvada. Not sometimes, not only on the meditation cushion or at the altar. forever and always. Preeti Rami Dharavi. Notice, keeping aside the path of action or knowledge, Swami Samartha Ramdas uses the word Preeti, love, a tender, continuous turning of the mind toward that which is eternal, beyond duty and discipline as devotion. Basically, being in love with your higher self. Line 2. Dukhachi swai sandi jivi karavi. Look, the world will continue to be what it is, an inseparable admixture of joy and sorrow. The human mind craves uninterrupted happiness. But the world has never been designed to satisfy that demand. It cannot, even if it tried. True prayer, therefore, is rarely a request that the world change. It is a willingness on the part of the one looking at the world to change. And in that light, if the first line of the shloka has truly been assimilated, the second follows almost effortlessly. Then, even though the world continues exactly as before, something extraordinary begins to happen. Sorrow slowly starts leaving the heart because the one clinging to every passing experience has begun to loosen its grip. Think about it. Every sorrow is fueled by one unquestioned assumption. This happened to me. This was taken from me. I have failed. I have lost. And then Advaita Vedanta asks the most devastating question of all. Who is this me? Is it the body? Its needs, capacities and limitations change with every stage of life. Is it the mind? What consumed it a few years ago hardly even crosses it today. Is it the intellect then? Convictions once defended with absolute certainty quietly dissolve as understanding matures. Who then is this me that is suffering? At the very outset of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna begins dismantling Arjuna's mistaken identity with this powerful declaration in chapter 2, shloka 23. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha, na chainam kledayantyapo, na shoshayati marutaha. Weapons cannot cut it, fire cannot burn it, water cannot wet it, wind cannot dry it. What then can the passing blows of this mortal world possibly do to it? The self that you truly are remains forever untouched by every triumph and every tragedy. Swami Samartha Ramdas is not asking us to suppress sorrow, fight sorrow, or pretend it does not exist. He is simply asking the mind to become so firmly established in its eternal identity as Atma that sorrow begins to fall away of its own accord. Because the one mistaking itself for every passing experience has finally begun to awaken to its unchanged reality. Line 3. Dehe dukkhate sukhamanit zave. One night, the step of a temple began to weep loudly. Disturbed by its cries, the idol from the sanctum asked what troubled it so deeply. The injustice, the step replied. Thousands trample over me every single day just to reach you. They adorn you with flowers while I remain stomped beneath their feet. And yet, were we not both carved from the same marble? The idol smiled. Indeed we were. But when the sculptor's chisel first struck, you cried out and resisted. So, he left you as you were. I surrendered to every blow because I could see in my Maker's eyes the beauty he was trying to reveal from within me. This has been a much-loved story of mine since childhood, teaching me that perhaps this is all suffering was ever meant to be. The divine sculptor refusing to abandon his masterpiece in the making halfway. Swami Samartha Ramdas asks the mind to look upon every hardship not as cruelty, but as life itself completing its work. To see every physical, emotional, and intellectual suffering as a blessing. For in the hands of grace, every chisel mark is carving God into view. Line 4. Viveke sada swaswarupi bharave. This concluding line brings us right back to where the shloka began. All human sorrow is born of our mistaken identity. Sri Ramakrishna Paramhamsa embodied the very truth Swami Samartha Ramdas points to here. Ravaged by throat cancer, he was often in excruciating pain. Yet, he continued to smile, to teach, and to draw seekers to the truth until his very last breath. His body suffered, no doubt, but he had long ceased to mistake himself for the body. That is the power of Viveka, the unwavering discrimination between the changing and the changeless, between what we experience and what we truly are. And perhaps that is why Swami Samartha Ramdas insists on Sada, always. One glimpse of the truth is not enough. The mind must be brought back to it again and again and again until it learns to abide there. The Bhagavad Gita does exactly the same. Krishna keeps returning to this truth chapter after chapter from every conceivable angle until Arjuna is finally able to see what had never ceased to be true and do what he ought to do. Fight the righteous war and win it. May we too come to recognize it. 4 Marathi lines in plain English. O beloved mind of mine, cultivate unwavering abidance in the eternal self and watch sorrow quietly leave the heart. Learn to welcome bodily hardship as the sculptor's chisel, and through discrimination remain ever established in your true nature. Until next week, Krishnaya Arpanamastu.